Greetings, Ashen here, and today I'm going to be doing an indie comics review of Grayscale. Welcome to Glitter City. This is by Michael Derrick, and he is somebody who I've wanted to pick up a comic book by for a little while now. He did The Abductables, so this is my debut to Michael Derrick's writing, and I'm going to just go ahead and give you my honest opinion about this comic book here. So, one thing I will say right off the bat is this comic book has some interesting concepts. I'm not certain that they were all fully realized, and it's similar to that regard in the art as well. In other words, like the art is passable, but it's almost there. It's not fully there yet. So let us take a look into this. I'm only going to show half the book. So we have writer Michael Derrick, artist P.K. Santra. You know, I'm not familiar with P.K. Santra. I've never seen his art before that I know of. And I'll talk about it a little bit as I get into this story. As you can see here, though, there's some really good art, especially when it comes to buildings and stuff like that. And then when we get into characters, it's a little different. It's a little more kind of cartoony. So there's a bit of a contrast there. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but you do have like really good stuff like this here, the full page spread. That's very well done. Now we have Grayscale, who is a karma-based superhero. He has abilities, mysterious abilities that he doesn't even fully understand yet, based around his karmatic powers. And right here we have these people who dress like aliens and used advanced weaponry in order to hold up places, much like this casino right now. So he steps in and he starts busting some heads. And, like the women, everyone's happy that he has sort of saved the day. But this is a guy who unfortunately gets a bad rap still. And he doesn't really care for it. I guess he's a vigilante because he wants to be. So we get that interesting story all set up right there. And what I will say about this is, even when we have dynamic shots, see, especially more like right here where we go from one angle to another, I don't know exactly what it is about this art style, but it looks kind of flat. It's almost like it cancels the dynamic range out a little bit. It might be because you see similar thickness and lines to the foreground and background. And then you go back here, and as you can see, it's different over here, but like all this, that has fatter lines than him, or at least the same size, and it really just kind of flattens out the image some. So that's one critique I have. One thing I gotta say is you got like these beefy characters here. I don't know. I don't know how accurate the musculature is, and that's not an issue. I mean, I've read stuff like Baki Hanma, and they have crazy muscles and stuff like that. But there's just sort of I don't know how to put this. There's a lot of like shading and shine and stuff like that. You can see that all over his clothes as well. But as far as like the smaller details like hair and stuff like that on people's bodies, it's very smooth and undetailed. I would like to see a little bit more characters that have intricacy to their body as opposed to just, broad swaths. So we have this fight between this guy right here, and he has come to collect. He wants to take out Grayscale. I'm not really certain why, but and stuff like that right there. That is looks like his leg is broken. So whatever's going on right there, that's something that should have probably been corrected. But this fight, like, I really do like the fluidity of the action here. I like how the violence looks, how the lines and stuff that they add to it. So, this guy has an imposing physique. So, and he does put up a good fight against Grayscale, and uses his strength against Grayscale as much as he can. So, what else can I really say about this? We are coming up on the halfway mark for the comic book. The story is interesting. It is nothing standoutish. You know, it's kind of typical for like a superhero comic, but it's nothing offensive. And trust me, reading comic books nowadays, we get a lot of stuff that's just filled with politics and very uninteresting things. But what we have here is something more along the lines of a more cocky, happy-go-lucky daredevil sort of character. So if you like that sort of thing, then you probably will like the character of Grayscale. I keep wanting to call him Grayskull for some reason. But now, here's an issue I have too that I encountered with this book. Sometimes we get a lot of dialogue, you know, between all the talking, and then we have all these boxes with tons and tons of text. It's like, I feel like personally, I don't have the attention span to read all of this. So this is one thing I will criticize. Like I honestly didn't even want to be bothered to read all this. And maybe if I really, really cared about these characters, if I was more invested and this was a very important sequence, then it would have mattered a little more to me, and maybe I could have gotten through this. But there are a bunch of pages just like this throughout the book at not necessarily the most important times, and it's just a lot of exposition, and I'm against all this. It's probably about 15% of the book that has pages like this that are just really trudgerous to get through. So, all right, and we are coming up to the end here. If you like pretty ladies, you know, this book has plenty of them. And here we go. This chick has these abilities to make people be like they're sort of on a drug trip or whatever. It's pretty interesting. Here we have Grayscale, and you know, he has his own unique set of abilities, and he runs into her, who is also superhuman in certain ways. And well, let's just say that the contrast of abilities is interesting without spoiling too much. So there we have it. I've gotten you halfway through the story, and what can I say about this? Um, Overall, this book is okay. It's not the best thing ever, uh, and honestly, the art could really use to be stepped up. This book is done by an artist who is good. He's much better than me, but he is not quite up to the level that I think that is quite professional yet. So like I could see this book as a definite stepping stone for him. Overall though, would I buy a second issue of Grayscale? Um it was an interesting story, and maybe some people would like it better than me, but overall, if I had to pick up a second issue of this at the same quality, I don't think I would do it. That's not a slight against anyone who likes it or against the creator or anything like that. This book just didn't quite do it for me. If there was a significant marked improvement with the next book, where the art maybe stood out a little more and there was a bit less of these, you know, it was a more streamlined story. There was less fat to chew on while you're trying to get through the actual story, then I would be more interested in picking up another issue of this. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you all have a great day. Yes.